Good morning, traders. Today is September the 30th, 2021. We are looking at the S&P futures. S&P futures is up 15 points. Taking a look at yesterday's close, we did make a pivot high of 43.78 and 75. Market is basically below the pivot of yesterday, so we are roughly trading here. This is approximately the pivot high from yesterday's candle, so I have a feeling that the markets will probably trade lower and close the gap. So the bearish sentiment for the markets overall is down. As we can kind of see, we've had this sell-off from the top all the way down. We had a bounce, we had a relief rally back up here, and then we had another sell-off with a major down candle basically. And what looks like is forming on the daily is a kind of bear flag. So we've basically had a dodgy yesterday, and today looks like we've kind of got a hammer even though we're green. So we could easily go down to test the pivot low for this major down candle, which would take us down to 44.42. But yeah, we could be headed much lower, possibly down to the low of this candle, which would take the S&P futures down to 42.94. So let's just draw this support area here. So you've basically got three critical support areas that we could monitor on the downside. The other pivot low would basically take us down to 43.21. So 43.21 would be right here. And like I said, this would be a low of 42.94, which would take us right down to here. It is right now 8:15 a.m. in the morning. If we basically take a look at what's happening today in the markets in terms of news, we do have the following for September 30th. We've got the GDP coming out at 8:30. We've got the initial job claims at 8:30 also, which will be a market driver and basically set the tone for which way the market is going to trade and open. And pretty much that is it in terms of the economic calendar. Looking at the news, don't see anything in the headlines right now, but the only other big event is the US debt ceiling, and the deadline for that is coming due, so that could basically introduce more volatility into the markets. It is expected that the debt level ceiling will be increased to avoid the US from having a default on their debt obligations. But having to increase the debt is not good news for the market and the economy. And I think that will be taken as a negative sentiments and basically sold down into by the bears. So I am expecting the markets to go much lower before we get some support. I think I am looking for a healthy correction, hopefully a healthy correction all the way down for the S&P to the low of this pivot, which is roughly 42.93. I hope we don't go as low as this daily candle, which would basically take us to a low of 42.14. That would be just about here. That would be a big correction. But if we kind of take a look at this chart, we've had this huge leg down. We've had a bounce. So if we were to basically measure the top to the bottom, I can see us easily having a second leg down, taking us to this support area very quickly within a matter of days. So that's the I didn't have my charts open, so let me actually switch back to my charts. Sorry about that, guys, but as I was saying, we are looking at the markets. We have the following support areas. We've got the low of this candle, which would take us down to 43.21, right about here. We've got this first major sell-off that took us to a low of 42.94, which is basically taking us into support in this area here. And what I was saying earlier was we've had this basically correction from the top, just to roughly about a high of 43.53. Oh, sorry, 43.35. And we've had this big corrective move all the way down to this level here, roughly taking us to 42.93. So if we were to take the measured move for this down, we've got a relief bounce. We've come back and trapped the bulls. So if we have a continuation that will mirror this leg, we could easily get down to the low of this candle here, which would basically take us down to a low of 42.14, which would mean that we would end up somewhere down here within a matter of a few trading days, maybe a week to 2 weeks, depending on how much the volatility picks up, and that still remains to be seen. I am out of the markets and I am just monitoring and watching, and I may take some stabs at going long at some critical support areas, but right now I don't feel too confident. I may start to take positions at this support area, or depending on how fast the moves are down, I may wait until we get down to this overextended area of 42.15 before I start to take some kind of positions and look for a move back higher, and maybe have a quick swing trade to a scalp trade. That's how I plan to do my trades in the next little while, but I am basically monitoring the markets. I am out of the markets and not trading for a while. So that's it, folks. Catch you later. Bye for now.